Hi everybody and welcome to this episode of Yo Pops with me, Shean Williams, and my dad.
Blessings to you all.
We hope that you all enjoyed our last episode and it is causing you to have great conversations with your loved ones and those close around you. And so we're going to jump into today's episode. But firstly, before I do that, how are you, Dad?
I am good.
Yeah.
I am good indeed.
You're looking very sunny today.
Yes, I think the sun is shining. It reflects on me. Mm-hmm.
Self-reflecting sun.
There you go.
Also, I was teasing my dad earlier because he sent me a video note this morning. And I felt like you thought I was checking in on you rather than actually just trying to say good morning. Because it was very official, the video note you sent me.
I think sometimes I forget to get out of the official mode.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
High five, Dad. I
Yes.
wasn't expecting that level of honesty so quickly. No, I'm being serious. And sometimes, you know, I've actually had moments of recent time where I can be a little bit harder on you than I think I mean to be. And so, yeah.
I allow you to be.
Okay,
So,
that's fair.
Because you see, you're having to learn something that when Junior comes around, you see me.
Yeah.
You're equipped.
Yeah.
You're equipped to. So I'm allowing you to practice your position.
Okay.
You see me?
So as I was saying before, I found myself, and it was only when I was reviewing a couple of the podcasts, we were talking, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm really grilling him.
If Junior ever comes, don't you?
That's just Kate. And so, well done, Dad, for your honesty. I'm very proud of you.
Indeed.
Wonderful. That really just threw me.
Is it?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
So, Dad, firstly, the last conversation we had was fantastic, and I've had some lovely feedback, even on some of the social stuff that we put out, and it's causing some wonderful conversations with people and those closest to them. Dad, I wanted to look into friendship, especially amongst men, because I think it's something that is, friendship is a very generic topic.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think when you get to a certain age, those that you either identify with as friends or those that you keep around you, I think they have a very specific purpose within your life.
Right.
And as I was doing some research and reading, obviously with it being Men's Health Month, I'm realizing that there are a lot of men that they have the surface visual basis of what friendship is, but in terms of what it actually is, it would appear that they don't necessarily have that kind of relationship. So I was kind of looking at some of the things that young men are dealing with, and not only young men, but men in general are dealing with. And I wanted to basically put some questions to you. And I wanted to find your take because I think it's something that's quite important at this time. Lots of people are feeling isolated. And they're feeling isolated either because of circumstances in their life, things going on within work, or their different circles that they move in. And I'm realizing that friendship in its truest form isn't as prevalent as it once used to be.
Right.
And so, I like I said, I wanted to look at a couple of things. And the first question I guess I wanted to ask you, Dad, was, why is it becoming harder for people, especially young men, to form deep friendships?
Okay. I think technology is playing a major role in that situation. And why that is, prior to the advancement of technology and introduction of things like social media, people find time to interact, go places together, hang out together, and communication was far more prevalent than it is today. Now, with the present technology and especially the social media, it is something that has eroded that level of connectivity.
That's a good word, Dad.
And people find it far less challenging to sit behind a phone
And to sit in person and actually,
indeed,
yeah.
yes. And so with that, they find that it sort of protects their vulnerability, and as a result, they just feel that, okay, I can just have a lot of friends, but no real deep emotional connection with them.
I was going to ask you, Dad, do you think that it's easier to lie behind a screen than it is to sit in front of a person and lie to their face?
I don't think it is so much lie that is the key factor. I think it's vulnerability. I think people find it's less challenging when people don't see you crying, for example, or don't see you becoming emotional about something. So I think people find it more comfortable to be vulnerable, without being present to a person. And I think that's what is going on in the background in most people's.
So, in terms of when you say it's easier to be privately vulnerable than publicly vulnerable, would you then do you think it would be right to suggest that then most friendships in today's society are only surface level relationships?
A lot of it is. A lot of it is. And as I said, that people are more gravitating to quantity
Yes.
than they are to quality. And if I had to advise people, is to seek out quality than just mere quantity.
So, question, Dad, what would ingredients of character quality look like potentially?
I think number one, when a person becomes your friend, you have certain level of connectivity, share certain values, and I think it's looking at those values, for example, level of integrity, honesty, sincerity, and all of that may be compatible to who you are, that is going to consolidate that friendship. And so that is what a lot of people don't take time to cultivate. So they would just be happy with somebody saying, typing a couple hi, hello, and just
That's it,
really
you're in and
lose,
out.
lose conversation with no real meaning or no real impact. You can't really show that character of the individual,
Yeah.
and just a few, one-liners, etc.
Question, Dad, you use the term connectivity quite a bit, and just for those that may be watching and want kind of a more specific idea of what you mean when you say connectivity, what do you refer to when you say connectivity?
Connectivity comes both in spirit as well as it comes in your soul.
Okay, your emotional.
Your emotional, so on. So when you find people that are compatible to you, then it's because they connect with you on some of these levels, and it is what makes them your friend.
So what might be some of the levels that people might connect with you on, that or be compatible, excuse me, with you?
First and foremost, I think the immediate would be emotional, because that's what you see, the intellectual. You're quickly to identify with someone who is who's got demonstrate that character, demonstrate sincerity, etc., etc. So that's going to be the first thing. So that is like the magnet that brings you together. And then if you're spiritually connected, then you're going to be friends for life.
Yeah, I hear that. I wanted to ask you, what is the impact positively and negatively of social media within the development, the maintenance, and the growth of friendship, like positively and negatively? What do you think? How do you think social media has impacted that?
Social media is a bit like some of our fast food, the proverbial McDonald's, etc., which you just turn up, order a quick thing, don't bother to think about how it's prepared, what is in it. You just want a quick fix.
Yeah.
Social media is a bit like that. It's a quick fix.
Yeah.
Now, that's the downside, in my view, to it. Of course, there are positive side to it because you have quick access without too much intrusion. So, for example, if you're feeling vulnerable at midnight, rather than getting up and going to somebody's house, disturbing the whole family, you can just send a message, and the person would react almost straight away. And so that is very positive. So it doesn't matter where they are in the world.
Yeah.
You can almost have access to them.
Yeah.
Now, the downside is that it does not cultivate for what I call close friendship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is what people really need in a time where you see so many people are experiencing all kind of emotional struggles.
Yeah.
It's nice to know there's someone physical in your environment that you can reach out to, that you can touch, you can get a hug from.
Yeah.
An emoji hug isn't the same as a tangible hug.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have liked it if I come in and you give me an emoji hug.
Right. I send you like the little emoji and just go, I'm sending you a hug. And you're like, you're right next to me. Why don't you just give me one?
Indeed. And so it makes a difference. It communicates far more effective. And I would say that is what makes a difference. Now, you can then choose how many, as I said, this is where now the quality versus the quantity comes into play. Because you're going to say, all right, for real friends, everybody need to have at least 3 to 5 genuine friends around them. People who, at a moment's notice, they will drop whatever they're doing to come to your aid, and you likewise to them. And so that for me brings security, it brings comfort, reassurance, and when you call them your friend, it really has meaning to it.
Dad, I wanted to ask you this question. Do you think trust has a major part to play in not only people being able to maintain friendships, but also for them to be able to develop them and start them? And if you're dealing with a person that is suffering with trust issues, how would you encourage them to overcome those, to then allow themselves to experience something that, like you said, we all need?
Honestly speaking, I think that trust is not the number one priority it should be in people's life. It's love.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if you trust somebody and you don't love them, you know what I mean, it won't take much to break that trust. But when you love somebody, you know what I mean, you trust them, and even if they falter, which human beings unfortunately are prone to doing, love can heal that quite quickly. You know what I mean? And that is what I think people lack. There's a lack of genuine love among people. And it doesn't matter whether it's family, it doesn't matter whether it's friends, neighbors, relatives, etc. So when you have that love, it covers, as we say, multitude of sins.
So would you say that love is the or one of the foundations of
They have
friendship?
found a chief cornerstone of any relationship. Because, when you do me something and because of how much I love you, I overlooked it. I find it's just really,
no, because you're talking deep. I can't be cracking jokes.
You see, so yeah, it helps you to find justifiable
Wait,
reasons.
were you trying to say when I do something to you?
Yes, so that's
I
what
don't
I'm saying.
do anything to you.
But this,
What? You hear the
What is it
false
called?
narratives you tell yourself.
I'm telling you about
Okay.
love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you said when you do something to, I was just like, wait.
Did you not say a minute ago that you're hard on me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right, so that's what I'm saying to you.
But
That was
that's in conversation.
no,
because
that was your diplomatic way of saying that you horrible to me sometimes. Is that
Dad. Firstly, that's not true.
is that mean?
I may not be as what's the word? Okay. We have a great chemistry, right? So when we are together, we get on better when we're not getting on than some people when they're really getting on.
That is right. Yeah.
So that also means that in the organic balance of it, there'll also be other times where, because we're honest, I don't have to dress up how I feel as long as I'm not being disrespectful,
Of course.
right?
Yes.
So there are times when I'll be a little bit more forthright, but I've also got to a place where I'm like,
Do you get a feeling that he's struggling to justify?
I'm not struggling to justify it. I'm trying to explain to you why what you're thinking might be slightly wrong. And so there are times when I'll be like, okay, I understand that, because sometimes I will project onto you something that I'm feeling within myself.
Of course.
And so because I let the first one go, you know.
Indeed, I did notice that.
So do you wanna,
I did try to adjust
I
it.
know, which is why I thought you did very well. Would you like to take care of that quickly? Do
Yeah. Okay.
you want to put on silent?
Well, okay. Let me perhaps switch it off.
No, it's okay. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So, yeah, so there are times when I recognize with my self-awareness that I was being hard on you. But also I think, and this is beautiful in the conversation, I think because there are dimensions of our relationship where you allow me to experience you on that level, that I will I'll always love my dad, but there are moments where I might take my dad friend for granted.
Indeed.
Right? And then my expression of that is purely about how I feel. Because sometimes that's how I'll be, sometimes with my friends. I'll express how I feel in its most truest form. But like you said, because love is built as the chief cornerstone.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Exactly. It can deal with it.
Yeah.
As even the Bible referred to it as covers.
Yeah.
And everything. And that is why it's important, because for a lot of people,
Yeah.
they've never really exposed to a lot of trust in their lives.
True.
And so it needs in some instances, it needs to be cultivated. And it takes somebody who loves you to cultivate something good in you, rather than just have an expectation. And that is why, I say to people, forget about expectation, just work with cultivation.
That's actually brilliant. Forget about expectation, work with cultivation, because what you're doing is you're committing to the process of bringing it to,
Absolutely,
instead of waiting for it to happen.
And you take, it addresses any element of failure or weaknesses or misunderstanding because you're cultivating it.
Yeah. Dad, I wanted to ask you this question. What role do you think masculinity plays now in how men form friendships? And do you think because of projected masculinity that we often avoid strong emotional bonds with other men because of it? And if that is the case, why?
Yeah. Masculinity is in most men as a male thing, but we're also seeing that being eroded more and more as we go forward, and the world changes into something that, or most things seems to be in cyberspace, in reality. So some people don't have the opportunity to really develop that masculinity, and even those who does, it may be under very difficult and devious, circumstances. However, it is something that is being eroded, as I said, with what we are seeing, especially in social media. Everyone is almost being made to feel that if you're too masculine, you are really out of sync with general society. And so it seems almost offensive to be considered as too masculine or gearing to be something of that nature. So I think that men feel that, okay, if you are less masculine, it's an advantage, it's a disadvantage, because people expect you to show your emotions and to act a certain way. While if you are masculine, people think, okay, you shouldn't show your vulnerability and all of that, which any of the extreme is not good. Yes. I mean, there has to be a balance.
Yes.
I mean, and that is where I think that people struggles to find that balance, and especially in today's society.
Do you know what, Dad? It's so funny you say that, because whilst I was doing like some research and stuff, I came across this term called manosphere, and I was just like, okay. And at first I ignored it because it just sounded like one of those new age fandango words where you just like, well, yeah, great, manosphere.
Yes.
Dad, when I started to research what this thing was, it shocked me, because the reality is what it's built off of is not wrong.
No.
But what fitly joins the frame of the building together is completely wrong.
Indeed. Indeed.
And it's like masculinity has been hijacked by men and projectors in a way where it's almost like something that is firm. So the reason why you said love is the chief cornerstone is because, firstly, the chief cornerstone is the thing that the rest of the building fits on.
Yes.
Right, Dad? So it's the most stable, secure thing. Now imagine if you've got an unstable, insecure thing claiming to be the chief cornerstone. Then what you then have are what I call these coping mechanisms that feel like the thing. It's almost like, you remember, Dad, when sometimes you go to the doctor and the doctor knows you haven't really got a problem, but you just need something to take. So he'll be like, oh yeah, tell me about it. And they go through the thing and you'll put on the stethoscope and you'll listen. Now he and I both know that there's nothing wrong.
Indeed.
And then they'll give you this thing called a placebo.
That's right, yeah.
Dad, I am convinced that this generation of young men are being fed a placebo version of masculinity.
Indeed, yes.
Because true masculinity must take on the balance of strength and sensitivity. Because I don't even want to say weakness.
No, that's a good word.
Sensitivity, because when something is more sensitive, then you put things around it to aid it and to secure it. And the reason why I love the conversation we're having is because what it does is it perfectly meanders, in my opinion, between strength and sensitivity.
Yes. Yeah.
Because within the man is the strength of creation, but it's the sensitivity of humanity.
Indeed. And I feel that a lot of women are find that is a lack in a lot of modern men.
Which is why they then have to almost take on
precisely
the role,
yes.
And then a man's like, well, I can't because you're
indeed. And so when you have that, and of course, like the statement, the word you just used a minute ago, there are those who, to a certain degree, have gone to the extreme to set up societies, institutions, another thing to try to facilitate the lack of masculinity in men. But of course, like in so many cases, they go to the extreme. Where when women in general look at feminism, look at it, they're saying, okay, you seem like you are against us and you are, misogynist, in your outlook and your general practice. And so it becomes a point of clashing. With those women who feel, okay, we need to be better recognized, better supported, and better great acknowledgement as to who we are.
Yeah.
And here is a group that is saying, okay, no, we don't think you should be that. And we've got us as men who are playing, I should play this greater dominant role. And that is where I think the lack of balance sort of comes in. And while intentions are good, execution, implementation does not reflect what make for cohesive existence between both.
And that's the word, that cohesive existence. Because when I look at what I call the manosphere movement, it feels like a poor answer to feminism.
Indeed.
It is literally that against that.
Yes.
And then you look at it and you go, and even just from something that you said, if women feel like they're having to step into more male orientated roles, then you can see why a movement like feminism will gather such pace. Because it's like, well, you don't want to recognize me for the job that you get recognized for, that you should be doing, but you're derelict in your duty.
Indeed.
And I'm having to do. Which would then lead me to this question, Dan. How do we create a safe space for men to be emotionally vulnerable, but also to gain what I call communal strength?
Yeah. That's where I think friendship, the general ethos of what we're discussing is friendship recession. And, to come out of a recession, you have to really make positive effort to address the situation, whether mental or economic or whichever way it is.
So then let's come up with a 5-point plan, Dan.
Yeah.